Welcome to Dating Deja Vu, the podcast where we talk about your patterns, your pitfalls, and your personal growth in modern dating. I'm your host, Christina Hathaway, marriage and family therapist and dating and relationship expert. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about the one thing that keeps a relationship going. Like, this is it. You better listen, turn it up, make sure that you save whatever, download this thing, because it's that important. So if you're dating in love life, it looks a lot of it of the same. It might be deja vu, but it also might be you. So hey, let's figure it out together. What is up, Deja crew? Welcome to another fabulous, wonderful episode of Dating Deja Vu, the podcast, the one podcast that has 79 followers on TikTok. You bet your ass at Dating Deja Vu. What is it? I don't remember. I'll put it in the show notes. Maybe that's why I have 79 followers. I'm pretty proud of that actually, because it was a brand new account. And for the first 6 episodes, we were posting from desktop. My assistant who is listening to this knows better. And we had 0 views. And I was like, what is happening? These are really good episodes. And finally, we posted from the phone and started doing it right. And we get a lot of engagement. So welcome if you're coming over from TikTok. All right. Today, I want to talk about something that almost nobody gives enough credit to, or maybe doesn't even know. This is the real thing that keeps a relationship going long term. It's not vacations. It's not grand gestures. It's not that we just get each other magic. It's not the, what you see on Instagram. It's the one thing that is backed by research by John Gottman. If that name rings a bell, we talked about Gottman in the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse episode. And John Gottman and Jolie Gottman are researchers. They research relationships and they're experts in relationships. And they have many different books that I can link in the show notes. And one of the main features is this concept. And it's all about the micro moments, the everyday invisible moments where you either turn towards your partner, turn away from your partner, or use this thing we're going to talk about as a weapon. And most people don't even realize they're choosing one of those until it's too late. Obviously, the negative ones. So what is this thing? We call them bids for connection. Bids for connection are small ways for you or your partner or someone you're dating. So this is important, even if you're dating, that reaches out to you for this small piece, this small time of attention, affection, and emotional presence. So, example, showing you something funny, right? Hey, did you see this? A sigh when they get home. That's passive aggressive, but still. Sending you the funny meme at 2 p.m. Asking how your day went, right? A little touch, right? A little bit touch on your leg. Or like my husband just came into the kitchen while I was making lunch and just kind of coming up behind and just touching my back. And that usually means he wants a kiss, right? And I could be like, oh, I'm making lunch. Get away from me. But I didn't. I turned towards him. These are such tiny things, right? Playing footsie across on the couch. Such tiny things. They don't feel like milestones, right? But every time you respond or don't respond, you're either depositing into or withdrawing from your relationship account, if you will, and the emotional part of that account. So you're either putting into that account or you're taking out of that account. And I had a client who felt like her boyfriend was so emotionally distant. But what we did is we broke this down. I was like, okay, well, let's talk about what bids is he making towards you? And let's pay attention to those bids. He was making small bids all of the time, sharing songs, asking her questions, making quick jokes about things, right? But she, and I do this too, was so distracted waiting for this big romantic moment that she didn't notice the real intimacy that was there, right? It was happening right in front of her. But we think grandiose stuff. No. How many people do you know who have had partners that bought them all the bags, took them on all the trips, but it was so lacking any of this. They didn't give a shit. They just wanted them to look good, present well, and probably not talk, right? Don't speak, just be pretty, right? So, okay, why micro moments matter more than the grand gesture. So, we were taught again to look for those huge signs of love, the big proposals, right? Even big weddings. That's not just a sign of like people think it's a sign of your love, but it's also a sign of like yours and your family's success. Obviously, these very glamorous vacations. Now, I am planning an anniversary vacation with my husband. We want to go a week somewhere, probably tropical. I was thinking Punta Mita, which I believe is the one in Mexico, not Punta Cana. That's the one in DR. And we do like we save up for these events because we don't necessarily go on these big trips, but that's not what makes our relationship better. It just is kind of it's an it's enhances our relationship. Or even these public declarations. My husband has Instagram, but he doesn't post on Instagram. Never has he ever posted me on social media. Luckily for me, everyone knows who I am. Just kidding. He's very safe and trustworthy, but it's not these big declarations. But okay, so what are the micro moments? So those moments of intimacy that live in the daily life. Again, how was your day? What are you working on? I will tell you, being married for almost 10 years, that, and we work, I work in here now, which is nice. It gives us a little bit of separation. But when I worked in the house, my office is a freestanding kind of casita thing. When I worked in my house, like we're right there on each other. So it felt like we didn't really have a lot to talk about. But what I would do is I'd come in and I'd literally sit on his lap, give him a hug, talk for a second, and leave. And I would just try to do that. That was like my bid for connection, right? The random check ins like that. And then tiny repairs after tension. So, whatever that looks like, I had to apologize the other day for being crazy angry about spilled yogurt. I already talked about them last episode. These micro moments, these small little things, they build trust, they build resilience, they build those feel good feelings. Let me tell you. So, I was on the news on Saturday morning and I had these props because I was talking about wellness and stress management. And I had like some food that you could eat that help with like magnesium and serotonin. And I had some workout, some equipment, and then I had some other stuff. And my PR gal called or text me that one of the roads was closed. So then I'd have to carry in my like gear with my lashes glam on this stuff. Which could I do it? Yes. And Mark was like, well, I can help you, And I don't remember if I asked him or he asked me or we like kind of said it at the same time. But let me tell you, he was so helpful. And I could have just been like, thank you. But I literally go like, this was so helpful for you being here. Like, I'm so glad that you came. And it was great. It was a great bid for connection, right? So these bids for connections create a relationship where conflict doesn't feel catastrophic because, again, you've put all of this into that relationship spending account or banking account, whatever you want to call it, relationship cup. You're putting into it. So when that conflict takes out of that cup, it doesn't feel like that cup is empty because we keep putting into it. I like cup. We're going to use that. Love isn't lost in these explosions, right? It's lost in the erosion, right? The moment to moment erosion. There's this tiny breakdown. It's not the big explosion. So how do we miss these bids for connection? Being distracted by my phone, ding, 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 or my stupid computer because I work too much. I'm working on it. It's really tough. I run two businesses. I have my wellness business. My wellness business takes up a lot of my time because I also have employees for that. I'm like working with my assistant on social media. And then I have this, and I have a podcast for that. And then I have my coaching business and a podcast for this as well. And so being distracted, giving these kind of half-hearted responses, right? That are just kind of like, whatever, thinking that it's not important, right? Brushing off this small thing. We could also respond really shitty. We can respond with sarcasm, eye roll, or irritation or silence. Ew. We can make that person even feel a bit stupid or foolish that they even reached out or sent the thing. And this happens because we're busy, we're overwhelmed, we're stressed. We're not even realizing how much those moments can actually take us out of the busyness, the overwhelm, and the stress. The other thing, though, too, is you could be carrying a lot of old relational wounds that make this connection that you're trying to do feel unsafe or bothersome. So in that case, we need to work on getting through and healing a lot of those wounds so that you could be open to this new way of connecting. So if you keep waiting for that big sweeping moment to make you feel loved, you're going to miss hundreds of tiny moments that already could be creating this for you. So how do we start turning toward our partner? Let's just slow down. Let's just slow down and even notice when it's happening. You can call it out in your head, bid, bid, bid. I used to do that in the beginning of my relationship because I had to remind myself, like, this was my first healthy relationship because I'm healthy now. And I had to really work on this. Just call it out. There's a bit. Slow down enough to notice when someone's reaching for you. Respond even if it's small. That's funny. Tell me more. I'm listening. Oh, that's great. Glad you had a good day, right? Then quickly repair if you miss it. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I was distracted. I need to do this more. That's why I wrote it down. Every time I talk on this podcast, I'm like, I need to do that more. So that validates that you can make mistakes. So I'm sorry, I was distracted. I care about what you were saying to me, or I'm so sorry. Can you say that again? And put your phone down. I didn't hear you. Can you repeat that? Just making sure. And then saying the words back or being like, oh my God, that's so funny. And then chatting about it. That's something my husband and I do. And then make it a habit. Don't make it this performance. Oh my God. Just as the micro moment is small, the reaction doesn't have to be grandiose. It could be oh, that's so cute. So simple. And we move on. Okay. So some of our reflections, if you are journaling and you want to add this to your prompts, how do I usually respond when someone bids for my attention? Have I been turning toward or away or weaponizing it? Oh, these stupid fucking memes you send me all day. You could be planning a reservation at the nicest restaurant wherever you live. Don't do that shit. What small moment can I show up for today? So those are your journal prompts. Again, relationships aren't built on one dramatic Instagrammable moment. Sorry about it. They're built on tiny little ones, tiny little moments that nobody else sees, right? Maybe people see here and there, but if you're wondering where the magic is, it's probably happening right there under your nose, right in front of you. And in these little moments, you can choose to meet them or you can choose to miss them. I hope you choose the former. So that's it. That's it for our episode today. Thank you for choosing Dating Deja Vu. If this episode made you think differently about love, hit that follow, leave a review, and share it with someone who's tired of chasing grand gestures or your one friend that just needs to chill out. If you want real talk, daily reminders, or more deep dives, you can come hang with us on Instagram and TikTok at Dating Deja Vu. You deserve a story that's built, not just performed. And that's it. I actually read my outro notes today. And I'll leave you with this. It might be deja vu, but it also might be you. See you next time.